Breaker Crunchers. Sorry for the delay. It's Saturday night in Phoenix, and you are watching a brand new episode of Couch Crunchers, where Sam was planning on joining us, but he went to the tattoo parlor to get all those scars put on his body and passed away, unfortunately. So,
nice.
So our heart goes out to his family. That's the end of Sam. Was that funny? I don't know if that was funny.
I laughed a little.
I'm kind of in a delirious state right now. So it's my son's 6th birthday, and we decided to, hey, Larry, how you doing? We decided to go to the zoo and wake up at 7 o'clock this morning, my one day a week that I get to sleep in. And we went to the zoo until like 12:30, 1 o'clock. And then had to drop my daughter off at a birthday party for one of her friends and had to stay out in Chandler while she was doing that and stuff. And I am absolutely exhausted. So if I start going too heavy with the dad jokes, because that's what I tend to do when I'm half awake, is I start telling jokes about Volkswagen cars and big butts and things like that. If I start getting too delirious, we're just gonna call it an end. we're gonna give our rating of it. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna go on as long as it takes. But Max, who has been absent from the show for the last 2 weeks, Max?
Yeah, 2 weeks. Sorry, I'm gonna turn my fan off so you don't get so much feedback.
Okay. So Max has been absent from the show for 2 weeks, and he joins us tonight, although he is taking a brief intermission to turn off his fan and has my face as his waiting screen. That's how connected we are as friends.
I thought I was logged in as me. What the heck? I guess I'm logged in as Couch Crunchers?
We are so connected.
I'm not logged in at all.
Oh. And then he's gone, and it's just me. Wow, tonight is a cluster, isn't it? Max will be back in just 1 second. But yes, tonight we are going to talk about Hulu's new horror flick, Book of Blood. The Book of Blood. Which so this month we're kind of focusing on doing the whole month with Halloween themed episodes. So because the movie theaters are closed, the pickings have been slim. So the first week we did Antebellum, then we did The Haunting of Bly Manor. Both were not very good. And this week we were doing Books of Blood, which I think was a little bit better than the first two we covered. And Matt will be here any second. Bear with me. So Book of Blood. Let's see here. One moment, guys. I appreciate your patience. Just sending Max the link to the show. So Book of Blood can be found on Hulu. But first, I want to let you guys know some of the stuff we've been watching. So when Max gets back, he'll give his. But I've been watching. There he is. So Max, I was just about to get into some of the shows and movies that we've seen recently.
Yeah.
You haven't seen a whole lot because you've been in Texas and Florida, going to Disney World, trying the COVID Disney World experience. So before I get into TV shows and stuff like that, how was walking around Disney World with the mask?
If it's any help, guess what?
What?
I'm alive and I don't have the Rona.
Well, you have 2 weeks to really know, right?
I guess that's true. We'll see. I'll report back in November. It was really fun, man. It was a lot of fun. Excuse me. I was really worried about the mask. But it really didn't end up being that bad. And you know what I think I'm realizing? I think that because it's so humid down there, it actually helped. Because I was really worried because sometimes when I go to the grocery store down here, I've got some issues with my nose to where I can't breathe through it very well. So I'm a mouth breather. And when I wear a mask, it causes my throat to get really dry, and then I'll cough in the stores, and then you get all nervous because you're like, oh crap, they're gonna think I'm some
Oh yeah.
carrier of the virus because he coughed. But really, the reality is my throat just got dry because I have a tough time breathing through my nose sometimes. So I was worried that at the park my throat would constantly be dry and I'd be coughing and making people uncomfortable and that I'd be uncomfortable. But that never happened. And so I was like, oh, I guess maybe I just got over that. Nope. I went to the grocery store today and within 10 minutes I was coughing a little bit in my mask. And I think it's just because the air is so much drier down here. I really think that the moisture in the air kept my throat a little bit more moist or something, because it was never an issue at the park. We had a lot of fun, and just it was not that bad.
So the mask was easier than taking a newborn?
The newborn thing wasn't bad. He was great,
right?
Honestly. Yeah, he's a sweet kid. We're pretty sure he's teething right now, though, because he has been on one. And I know that's early. He's only 3 months old, but when we took him to the doctor last time, she was like, I think your kid's going to teeth early. That kid is drooling something fierce for a 2-month-old. So we think he's teething because he's been pissed for the last 2 days, just so mad.
Well, we'll all say a prayer for Kelsey's tatas.
Yeah, when those
they
teeth
don't get
come
mangled.
in.
Yeah, hopefully they don't look like the dude in the Book of Blood.
Right? Yeah, right. Yeah, but dude, it was a lot of fun though going to Disney. And I didn't get to do everything I wanted to, even though they had reduced capacity with the 6 feet social distancing, and they have about 25% of capacity at the park. But with the distancing and not being able to have the rides be full, lines were still kind of long. So we did Animal Kingdom on the first day, and we did everything that we wanted to do except for the safari ride. We didn't get to do the safari. And then the next day we did Hollywood Studios, and I didn't even get to do Star Tours or Smuggler's Run, which is the Millennium Falcon ride, because we just didn't have time. We were in line for 2 hours for this new Mickey Mouse ride, and we wanted to prioritize some of the ones we could take our baby on, and that was one we could take him on. But it was a 2-hour wait because the ride broke down. They had to clean it, and it was new and just busy. But it ended up being a really good ride. And they're gonna have it in Toontown at Disneyland. They're going to be building that same ride. Really, really fun, family-friendly one. I think it's called Mickey and Minnie's Railroad Adventure or something like that.
Are they removing something from Toontown?
I asked my wife that because she's the one that looked into it. She said no, but I would have thought that yes.
Because if they get rid of Roger Rabbit's, I'm going to be furious. Is it bigger than Roger Rabbit's? Would it have to be a bigger space?
Yes, it would have to be a much bigger space. It's there's essentially this building in the middle of Hollywood Studios that I don't know what it was used for before, but they basically use the entire building to house the ride in.
Oh.
So we'll see. It's got similar vibes to the Roger Rabbit one, but in a little bit different.
Yeah.
I loved it though. And then we did get to do Rise of the Resistance. We were on it. My wife and I were both on our phones because in order to get on the ride, you have to go into the Disney World app, and you have to as soon as 9 a.m. rolls around, you have to hit join group, and it sells out fast because there's only so many tickets that
sell. You were telling me you and Michael did this in Disneyland.
Michael and I did this at Disneyland. My brother and I did this at Disneyland, and we got into group boarding group 40 something. And we did this at 9 a.m. It might have even been earlier. Disneyland, I think, opens earlier. But we did it earlier in the morning, and we didn't get to ride the ride until 2 p.m.
Wow.
Which was fine. It wasn't a big deal because, you can't come back until your designated time. So you go and you do your rides and whatever you want to do. So it's not bad. In fact, I wish more rides were like that, honestly. I wish you could do virtual fast passes for everything. I just think that would be so nice.
I'm sure we'll get to that. I think having those long lines and having people wait there. Think about it this way: if I owned a theme park, right, would I rather have a bunch of people waiting in lines to ride a ride, or would I like to have them in the gift shops, right? So by doing that fast pass thing on your phone, you have the lines eliminated, if not reduced dramatically in length, right?
Yeah.
And wait time. And then you have those people buying stuff from the gift shops, buying food, spending money in your park. If you think about it, I mean, when you go to Disneyland, you have maybe an hour or two each day to spend in the gift shops.
Yeah, if that. I mean, we were at Hollywood Studio from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. when they closed. and I only got to do like 5 rides.
Yeah, you spent most of your time in lines, right?
And we had a lunch reservation and a dinner reservation, which looking back, I wish I would have canceled the dinner reservation so that I could have ridden more rides. But really, I got to do Star Tours and the Millennium Falcon ride at Disneyland in February with my brother. I did each of them more than once because it was so not busy. So it's like, whatever. I got to do the rides I wanted to earlier this year, and they're the same thing.
Yeah.
But it still sucked to be at a theme park, and instead of riding rides that I paid to ride, I was spending more money at a restaurant that was overpriced because it's a Disney World restaurant. You know?
Oh yeah, dude. I refuse to eat at the park, man. Like, well, for one, I'm completely gluten free, so there's not a whole lot of options for me to begin with at the park. Yeah. But
Disney World would have options for you at every restaurant would have an option for you. But
oh really?
Oh yeah.
But my kids, like, you spend all this money on their meal and they eat 25% of it, maybe. Mm-hmm. You know,
yeah. With kids, it's got to be tough, man. Last year, when Kelsey and I went to Disney World, just us, no kid. I think the kid was in there, but we didn't know it yet. but when we went last year, it was different than having a baby with us too, because we didn't have him to deal with. But it was also my wife and I. We both worked. We didn't have any kids, so we had that dual income thing going on. So it wasn't a big deal if we went out to eat 3 times a day on this vacation because we had the money for it. But when you've got one income like you do in your family and you've got 5 kids, it's expensive, man. It adds up. I mean, we went to one place where our meal, we shared, but our meal was like $50. Now, granted, this place was really, really fancy. It was this real fancy French place. And the meal was amazing. It was like the seafood dish just full of like lobster and shrimp and all this other stuff, and like this tomato soup, not a soup, but like just like with like a tomato sauce on it. So good. But it was expensive. I mean, had I gotten that outside of the park, it probably would have been $35 instead of $50. It was an expensive dish, but made more because at Disney. But anyways, that trip was really fun. But what amazed me is when we went to Magic Kingdom, which essentially is just Disneyland without Star Wars, because it has like all the same rides you would expect. We got to do everything, and we got to do a couple rides more than once. It was crazy. And now Magic Kingdom,
those rides are older, right? So people are the new stuff.
Well, we got to do all the new rides too, but I think what it comes down to is that Magic Kingdom has a lot of rides, and they're doing the same capacity, I think, at every park. So when you have more rides to split that population out from, you have more opportunity to go on the rides. And we were smart and did the the longest line of the day first, because we got in and that was the other nice thing, we got in like 40 minutes before open, and they were already doing rides. So I got in line for the Seven Dwarves ride there, which we didn't get to do last time, and I'm glad we got to this time because it's fun. Anyway, we got in line for that, and my wife and I were smart about it. We're like, you know what? This is going to be an hour wait, so let's go take our kid on other rides. Lance got booted or something. But it was fun because I was in line for the Seven Dwarves, and then my wife was like, hey, how about you take James on a ride? So she stood in line while I took our kid and did the teacups, and then I came back. She got the rider swap all set up, and I waited in line. And then she took him on Winnie the Pooh and took him on The Little Mermaid. And then by the time she was done with both of those, I got to do the ride. And then we did the rider swap, and she did it. And so that was pretty fun. Like with the rider swap stuff, we could take James on other rides while pretty much me. I was always the one that waited in line, considering, Kelsey's the food source. So it made sense for her to kind of just sit on the sidelines. That way, if he got hungry, she didn't have to stand in line and feed him.
Not only that, you had to make up for going without her in February.
Yeah, sure, that too. And I think you're not on your Yeti mic. You might want to change your settings up because you sound horrible. But anyway, we did everything at Magic Kingdom, and it was also really cool. We had some friends from Colorado that were there at the same time, and we made this plan to meet up with them. Well, we said we were going to make plans when we never did. And then we did the Haunted Mansion. The last thing was our second time doing it. It was the last thing we did of the night. And as we're leaving the ride, our friends that were also there were like, hey, it's the Petersons. And so we got to see them and take a picture with them.
So are those rides different? Because I've never been to Disney World. We've been talking about going for some time, but It would
Yes.
cost us like $7,000 to go. Like it's not cheap. And so Disneyland is older than Disney World, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that those rides were made after the rides that the original ones in Disneyland. So I'm assuming that maybe they seem a little bit more updated, or they may be longer, or
they're just different. But they're not that different. Like Haunted Mansion is slightly different than what you'd get at Disneyland, but it feels like the same ride still, and it has some of the same beats. Like, the hitchhiking ghost thing at the end of the ride, that happens in both. Pirates of the Caribbean, you've got a lot of the same parts, whether you're at Disneyland or at Disney World. I'm pretty sure that Disneyland's is longer, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I know the space where you go at Disneyland it feels a lot larger than the space that you enter the ride at Disney World. But they're both great. Like, you're still going to have, it's changed, but you're going to have the women chasing the men around in a circle, no matter which one you go to. It used to be the men chasing the women, and it used to be men
chasing Jack Sparrow, right?
No, it's just chasing different people. Jack Sparrow's like hidden throughout all the ride, which that's new since the movies. But it used to be that the pirates were auctioning off wenches, and that a man was chasing a woman around in a circle.
Yeah.
And then Disney was like, that's offensive, and so they changed it to a woman chasing the man, and now they're auctioning off like hens or something like that. Which, whatever. Like, I think it was silly to make the change because they're pirates. They're bad people. Like, they're bad people. But whatever. You want it to be a kid-friendly ride. It's still really fun. But the
just because we changed it now doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yes, yeah. But
I digress. Keep going.
But the rides are very similar, but they are different. Jungle Cruise, I don't think is any different. I think it's the exact same. It just depends on what you're doing. Which
Dude, I can't tell you the last time I've been on Jungle Cruise, because we always just kind of skip that one.
Dude, I love that ride. It's so funny.
That's the one where you're sitting on the boat,
as a dad.
right?
Yeah, and it's just dad joke after dad joke after dad joke. It is.
Well, I've only taken my kids once to Disneyland,
and that was with us. Did we not do Jungle Cruise when we went?
We did not.
Really? I love that ride.
No, we opted to do Thunder Mountain a bunch of times and Indiana Jones, and we did a bunch of rides. Yeah, we did a bunch of rides like multiple times. But I remember every time I go to Disneyland, because I've been maybe 8 or 9 times or something like that. Every time I go to Disneyland, I have to ride the Roger Rabbit ride and the Peter Pan ride.
See, it's funny. It's a nostalgia thing, right? Because I don't think I'd even done the Roger Rabbit ride until I went with you. It's just not something we did.
It's something I have to do every time, because first of all, Roger Rabbit is a fantastic movie. If you've seen it, right?
No,
bro, that movie. I think that movie won like awards and stuff. Like, it's that good. Like, it's really good.
Fair. It's just not something that I was shown as a kid. My parents just didn't.
Oh, dude, and it's terrifying. I don't think I would show it to my kids.
Really?
Not yet. Kaylin, yes. William, maybe. The rest of them, no. They won't be able to handle it.
Okay.
But Christopher Lloyd's in it, and he's basically going around dumping cartoon. He's playing a real person. He's dumping cartoon characters into big vats of acid, and they're basically melting away.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. The whole goal. The whole goal is they want to get rid of all the cartoon characters, and Bob Hoskins, I think, is the Bob Hoskins. I think, is that who the main guy is?
I don't know.
I don't remember. But he is a detective who Roger Rabbit's accused of killing somebody or something like that, and he goes and stops this guy from killing all the cartoon characters, and he's creepy. Christopher Lloyd is creepy in that movie. Christopher Lloyd, dude, I don't know what it is about that guy, but he is in like most of the movies that you think of that were like childhood classics. Him and Rick Moranis.
Oh, Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I don't want to keep us like bogged down on this too much, but I do want to show you one more thing.
Yes.
Give me like, you don't even really need to vamp. I will be back in like 10 seconds.
Okay.
So I'm even going to leave my door open. I'll be right back.
Okay. But
I am going to turn my camera off because it's a surprise.
Dude, you've got a little like twisty thing going.
I do. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. You're looking like pork chop. So next week, guys, make sure to listen. It's going to be a pre-recorded episode because Saturday is Halloween, and I hope you all have a safe and happy Halloween. But next week we're going to be doing Shaun of the Dead versus Dale and Tucker versus Evil. And these are two of my favorite movies, and they just so happen to be horror comedies. And we've got some special oh yeah, your lightsaber, dude. Your Kylo Ren one.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much did that set you back?
Badass, man. Look at that.
How much did that set you back?
Don't talk about it. Shh.
How much?
Okay. The hilt. So this thing.
Yeah.
$150, and it came with these.
Okay.
The two side lightsaber things. And then this is an additional piece that I thought came out easier. Anyway, $50.
Don't break it.
No, I'm not going to. It's supposed to come out easy.
So that whole thing costs $200?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, good to know I spent you that money for the PlayStation 5, so you were able to do things like that.
Look at this, dude. You see it like the way it shimmers, and I think it's pretty cool, dude.
So are you gonna make? So we need to make like a little mount for your wall for that, dude.
We do, because this would easily be a hanging display piece.
Yeah, I'll help you with that.
We should.
I can help you with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, next week I was just telling the listeners that next week we're going to be doing Shaun of the Dead versus Dale and Tucker, and I'm excited, dude, because you have never seen Dale and Tucker, right?
No, I have not,
dude. So Dale and Tucker is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
I'm here. I can still hear you. Yeah, you've told me really good things about it, and so I need to watch it. So I don't know. I mean, you and I were supposed to hang out after this. Maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea to watch that, but we'll figure that out after.
As the show keeps going, we're 20 minutes in, and I am so tired.
I can relate to that, dude.
We'll talk after. Now, it was just a long day, dude, walking around the zoo. So many of your experiences were similar to the experiences that I had at the zoo. So any public area, you had to be wearing a mask. A lot of the climbing rides, so they had these platforms that the kids could climb up with and be at level with the giraffes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And things like that. The petting zoo was closed. All the playground was closed. So all the things that were climbing activities, all that was closed. A lot of the exhibits were closed. So they usually have like a monkey enclosure where you can go in and actually the monkeys like can climb like around you, like and touch you and stuff. So that was closed. So you had to look at the monkeys from the outside of that thing. So you couldn't go in there. But they it's really interesting to see these parks and things like that in this current climate that we live in and how they're operating. Because the zoo, I mean, needs to raise money because they do a lot of animal research and stuff like that. They need to bring money in so they can continue their research and their rehabilitation and things like that. Yeah. And it was just really weird, dude. And I bought a Venom mask, which is my favorite mask. I've worn it once. I can't find it.
Oh,
so then I go to Phoenix Zoo and I take my Marvel mask, which is my second favorite mask, lost it at the zoo.
Oh, man.
Oh, dude. And then my wife, who got a brand new Hydro Flask. You know what Hydro Flask is?
Yeah.
Those like really expensive water bottles.
Yeah, I love those.
Lost that too.
Well, I'll tell you this. That sucks. Get the Walmart brand one instead. That's what my wife and I use, and we love them. They work great.
Well, I have a Stanley one that I love, but the Hydro Flask comes with a lifetime warranty. So
does lifetime warranty, does it count losing it?
No. That would be called insurance. So someday I'll teach you the difference between insurance and warranty.
I know the difference.
No, I'm just kidding. No, but it sucks because she really liked it. So I went out today and I bought her the same exact one because she loved it so much. But I've tried the Walmart ones and they're awesome. But the Hydro Flask, dude, you could fill it to the top with ice and there would be ice in there 2 days later. It's amazing.
That is pretty good because mine, it'll have ice like the next day, but that's
not
2 days.
That's
impressive.
Stanley one, my Stanley one's awesome. It's about half the price of a Hydro Flask, but it has a straw that you can take in and out, and it can have ice in there for like a day and a half. If I don't refill it, as soon as I put water in there, the ice of course melts. Once you put more water in it, and it'll go quicker. But if I fill up it with ice, I put the water in, fill it up with ice, and I put it on my nightstand, go to bed, and then pick it up the next night, there will still be ice in there, and it'll still be ice cold. Like, it's amazing, these things, because they're like vacuum sealed or something like that.
Yeah, no, they're impressive. They're really cool.
But that Hydro Flask, dude, cost me $70.
Oh, that sucks.
$70, bro. Oh, are you having the same issue that I am, where you think?
Well, that's the first time, but yeah.
So I think I figured out what it is. I think it's the shine on my forehead. And right now you have a lot of shine on your forehead right now.
I know, dude. This fan that I installed a while back is so bright on my freaking forehead.
Yeah. So this is the issues of the bald and the fading, is we get these shines. So I'm wearing a hat tonight, and so far I don't think I've had the focus issue one time.
Better. I got my hand on my forehead now.
So
I don't know. It doesn't usually happen to me, but you might be right. It could be the shine.
No, but I've noticed
like flaring the lens.
Yeah, I've noticed tonight you have a very significant amount of shine on your head.
I do. It's way more than usual, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
that light is so bright.
So I'm wearing a hat tonight. As you can see, I'm supporting our Arizona Cardinals. This is something that
I'm gonna go Matt style. Let's see. Ooh,
dude, that doesn't look half bad.
That actually doesn't look too bad.
So what I do is like,
this is how Matt podcasts.
I know, in the dark. So what I do is I have this light right here, and I point it down, and it gives me a white light in here, and I feel like it really like brings me out a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I like podcasting in the dark. Ooh, we're gonna talk about a scary movie. I'm gonna turn my screen off for just a second and scare you guys even more.
So, I was gonna tell you. So, did you see that a new Marvel show hit Hulu?
No, what hit Hulu?
Okay, you are significantly dark now. What'd you do?
I turned off my monitor. I was trying to make it scary.
Yeah, so I think it's the last Marvel television, Jeff Loeb and all those guys. It's the last TV show from those guys. Now everything's going to be MCU centric, right? But it's called Hellstrom, and my wife and I are watching it. And
that's a Marvel show, Hellstrom?
It's Marvel.
I didn't know that. I didn't really.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So I'm not familiar with these characters in the least, but it's very spooky. It reminds me a bit of Supernatural. We're 4 or 5 episodes in. If I wasn't so tired, I'd watch another episode tonight with my wife. Don't think that's going to happen. But it's very good so far. I like it a lot. But I must preface with this. I have no interaction with the property that it's based off of. So I don't know how accurate it is or anything like that. But so far, I like it.
I didn't realize that was a Marvel property.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they're marketing it heavily Marvel. Like, it'll say it in the credits, but it's not saying like Marvel Studios or Marvel. Like, it's not like in the title card. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I see it now. I'm looking up the pictures of it, and that's definitely a comic book character.
Yeah. So there is one thing that bugs me to no end, and I hope the producers someday get wind of this. If a second season comes out, which I highly doubt it, because it's with Marvel Television.
I'm trying to share my screen so people can see what the comic book character usually.
The lead actress, so the sister of so the other half of the Hellstrom siblings, has these bangs that distract me every time her face is shown on screen. So I don't know if you get.
No, I was, but you weren't responding, so I just stopped.
I didn't see it pop up.
You're good, dude. It's not that big a deal. If you really want to know what it looks like, just Google Hellstrom.
So
one L. Oh, dude, those bangs are nasty.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm assuming that this is probably in line with the comic book character or something.
I'm sharing my screen again so people can see. So go ahead and say yes. Here, let's do this one instead. Man.
And there they don't even look bad. They're really bad when you're watching the show.
Hey, I don't like
It's horrible. No.
Yeah, but this is cool looking. That the comic book character is cool looking. I had no idea. I had no idea. I just thought it was a new Hulu original that was like horror based since it came out in October.
So what sucks is that I think, if I'm not mistaken, that the Hellstrom property interacts with Ghost Rider, and now they're not making that Ghost Rider TV show.
Yeah.
So it would have been cool to see a crossover. Half of me is happy that Marvel Television is not a thing anymore, that now it's all MCU. And the other half of me is kind of bummed because there's some things that I like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ending and the Ghost Rider show not coming out and things that I wanted to see. But I don't know. I have faith in Kevin Feige. Hopefully he'll continue. But have you seen anything? Oh, and the other thing is I pre-ordered Miles Morales last night.
Woo! Nice.
The legendary or the legendary
Ultimate
launch
Mega Edition.
Yeah, that has the original Spider-Man because I sold my Spider-Man game with my PS4 Pro. And so it has the original Spider-Man game plus Miles Morales. And you're not going to see a whole lot of me when that game comes out because I think I'm going to be trapped to my TV.
I get it, dude. I get it. I'm so freaking excited. I mean, as you guys all, I think, know, because I've mentioned it on the show several times now, I just built a new PC and I'm freaking loving it. And it's been so much fun. But we've got Assassin's Creed Valhalla coming out November 10th. And then we've got a week after that, we've got Cyberpunk 2077, dude.
Finally.
That's coming out. Yeah, finally. And then as soon as Lance is done, he is graciously allowing me, and only me because we are hetero life mates, to borrow the PS5 that I purchased for him and play the game.
But, okay, don't say it like that. I paid for it.
Yes,
I paid for it. So what had happened is Max pre-ordered the PS5, decided, F the PS5, I want to build my own PC.
Yes.
Was going to cancel his pre-order. I said, no, don't do that because I want it. And I was too lazy to go pre-order it. So I just paid Max the money. So Max did not buy me a PS5.
Fair enough. I wanted to keep it, but I'm like, I still have one more upgrade that's expensive that I want to do to my PC. That's going to cost the same price as a PS5. And I was like, I cannot justify spending this much money on all this stuff. So I will get a PS5 later. I'm probably not even going to get the Xbox Series X, or if I do, it'll be a while because my PC can play anything the Series X was going to play. And once I get my new graphics card, it's going to be better than the Xbox Series X.
Here's what I think you should do, dude.
What's that?
I think you should get your Xbox One X fixed, like fully fixed.
I tried. It's going to cost more money to get the thing fixed than it would be to just buy a new one.
Mike from the Grizzle Geek says Max didn't pre-order me one. Yeah, and to all the assholes that are selling their pre-orders online for like thousands of dollars, screw you.
It's messed up, dude, and that's the frustrating thing for me because I want to get the latest graphics card that came out from NVIDIA. It's the RTX 3080. That's what I really want to get, but it's not available. You can't get it anywhere because it released, I think, mid last month, and the day it released, bots purchased almost all of them. I mean, some consumers got some, obviously, but bots got them. And so now you go online and you try to buy this thing, and it's $1,300, $2,000, $3,000.
Just wait, dude. Just wait.
I'm not in a hurry. I think I mentioned on the show that due to a clerical error from a retailer, the current graphics card that I got a few months ago was free. So I'm not that worried about it. I've got a good graphics card that's not the best, but it's a good one, like really good one.
Yeah.
And I got it for free. So the only reason I'm going to be upgrading now is because I can turn around and sell this thing for probably $250 to $300 and put that towards the new one I'm going to get. That's going to be even better.
So even through like somebody on Craigslist that does console repairs, like you can't get it fixed.
They'd have to buy a brand new motherboard, and
motherboard is fried.
Yeah, the motherboard is what was fried.
Oh my gosh.
It's fine, dude. It's not a big deal. I've got my PC and I got plenty of games on here, and it runs games better than my Xbox One X did.
The only reason I was saying this is because if you go trade it in at GameStop, you'll get $200 for it towards
Oh yeah.
a PS5. So I was just
Yeah.
trying to think of you to recoup some of those costs. But if it
Yeah.
costs more than $50 to fix, not
Exactly.
worth it.
And it would cost more than that. So what I'm going to do is when the PS5s are more available and they have a trade-in deal, I'm going to trade in my PS4 Pro. I think I can probably get 200 trade-in for that, and my Xbox One. I can probably get another 100 for that, and then I'll get a PS5 then. Way less money.
Yeah. Well, I sold my PS4 Pro for $250, but it came with 2 controllers, and Spider-Man, the game. Oh, and a charging cradle. But
Yeah,
I
I only have
trying
one
to get it
controller.
out.
I only have one controller. I could probably try to sell it, but I kind of want to keep playing it. So until I can get a PS5, I don't want to sell my PS4.
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I'll have the one that you pre-ordered by at least November 20th. I'm hoping.
I think you will. I just don't have an
Yeah.
official, shipping date on it yet.
I don't play enough to really go through withdrawals for the next 3 weeks.
Oh yeah. Well, and if it was
Really?
only 3 weeks, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind selling my PS4 now. But I'm
You
not
don't
getting
know
a
when you're going to
PS5.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got Final Fantasy VII Remake on there that I still want to I still kind of tinker with. I've been debating replaying The Last of Us 2, which probably wouldn't happen until the beginning of next year because of all these games that are coming out. But there's games I have on there that I want access to. So
Okay, so when you do buy one, can I implore you to do something? Can
No.
you buy the disc version so that we can trade games?
I'll
Please?
probably get the disc version because now that I'm not getting the Series X and my One X broke, I don't have a 4K disc player right now.
Okay, and here's the other thing.
I was planning on getting a PS5.
If you want a game so badly that you have to buy it digitally, don't. I'll go on release day and pick it up for you if that means that you will buy the physical version. You freaking
you don't get it.
I do get it. I do get it.
No.
You want the simplicity and to have it right when it's released.
Yeah. When you buy digital, you get to play the night before it comes out. I can't do that physically.
Yeah,
I'm
but
impatient.
you buy every just if it's a game that you think I'll want to borrow from you after you're done. Like I'm buying Spider-Man physical, right? If you had a PS5, I could just lend it to you when I was done if you didn't buy it or something like that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm lending you the whole system.
I understand
now, so.
how it works.
Yeah. So if there's a game, like if you buy Call of Duty digital, I'm not going to care because I'm not going to play that game. But if you buy, what was the game you just buy? Death Stranding that I want to play, and now I can't borrow it because you are a punk.
There are other ways to let you borrow things like that. I really don't use my PlayStation that often. I could easily just let you log into my account and download it to your PlayStation, and you could play it that way.
Oh, we're talking about illegal activity here.
We could do it a more legit way too. There is a legit way to do it that is not illegal.
You know what I just realized though? You're not really playing Xbox then, right? No, you are because you can play them on your PC.
It's not Xbox, but it's the same games.
So if I logged into my Xbox through your account and played a game, could you also simultaneously play that game on your PC, or does it take up the one license?
Yeah, you can only be logged in on one device at one time.
Mm-hmm.
But this is irrelevant because I don't own games twice. But if I owned, let's say, the Master Chief Collection on Steam, which I don't, but let's say I did, and you logged onto my Xbox account from your Xbox and we wanted to play together, which isn't currently available because they don't have crossplay, but let's say they did, we could play then because Steam is different than my Microsoft account. But that's different. But why would I do that? If I own it on Microsoft, why am I going to buy it again on another platform? That's just stupid.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm excited for the PlayStation 5. But even though it is absolutely hideous.
Oh, it's gross looking.
Yeah. Oh, actually, did I tell you? So there's a store that's selling it's PlayStation shells. I can't remember the name. So basically you take the shell off. My keyboard's acting really weird.
Yeah, dude, mine has been today too. It won't type stuff half the time. It's annoying.
So the PlayStation 5 shelves. So what is the name of this thing? So I think, yeah, see my keyboard just connected for some reason and connected. It's acting really weird. But let me see. It's called, I'm trying to find this dang thing. Plate Station. Plate Station 5 is the website. So plate, not play. And basically I can turn my PlayStation into an all black device, which I think will really help the appearance.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that.
Yeah,
I think that's cool.
But
that
these don't snap on. Like you got to remove the plates and then put these on. But I think it's the same way you would upgrade the hard drive. And I know that PlayStation said that there will be upgradable hard drives, right? So I don't think it'll void the warranty, but I'm not sure. If it doesn't void the warranty, then I'm definitely buying one of these, and I'm going to turn it black because that thing looks like I have a stack of notebooks on my dresser.
Dude, I hate the freaking PS5 look. It's gross. And Quantum Kyle's over here in the chat saying they're coming out with a black version. If you have a link to that, please put it in the chat because I am not aware of any such official black
There's
version.
been a lot of fan renderings, but Sony has not there's been a lot of fan renderings of different like Spider-Man ones, and but Sony hasn't confirmed anything. So I'm sure one will come out, but don't expect it this year.
Eventually you're gonna get the all white ones, you're gonna get all black, you're gonna get the Spider-Man. When Spider-Man 2 comes out, there'll be a special edition. That's all gonna happen. Like there's no doubt about that. Like that will. But for now it's ugly. And I honestly think that the two-tone is a part of that. I think it would look better if the middle was black and the outsides were white, but I still don't like it. I think it's an ugly design.
The middle is black.
Wait, sorry. Other way around. The other way around.
Oh, the outside black and the middle white?
Yeah.
No, then it looks like you have an Oreo sitting on your entertainment center.
I hate it either way. I'm just saying I think that would look a little better. No, I don't like the two-tone. Make it all black.
So, yeah, I agree. But it kind of sucks that, we have this backwards Oreo or the tiny refrigerator to choose from. Like, both of the design departments that design both of these systems should be fired. In my opinion, Xbox One X, right? That's the one I have, right? That's the big one. Is one of the best looking systems to ever come out.
I love it. I think it's so.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I think it's really cool looking. It is. It's hefty, but it's packed full of.
But it's not even that hefty. It's not even that hefty considering.
No, it's small. It's just heavy.
Oh yeah, it's way heavy. But considering what the original Xbox looked like, the Xbox One X or One.
Oh, the Xbox One is ugly.
Yeah, considering what that looked like, considering what the original Xbox looked like, considering what the original 360 looked like, the Xbox One X has been.
I think the Xbox One X is their best looking console to date. Yeah. It looks better. It looks better than the Series X, and I like the Series X. Although I do think the Series S is pretty cool looking too. But I think the One X is their best looking console to date. Mm-hmm. Anyway, should we get into the movie?
I think so. I think so. So tonight we're talking about Hulu's The Book of Blood, which kind of had a really there wasn't a lot of fanfare regarding its release. Would you agree? I think I just kind of stumbled across it. I just stumbled across it.
The only reason I heard about this thing is because you told us about it.
Yeah, so I was trying to fill our month of October with like scary stuff and it's called Books of Blood. So I don't even have the name right. That's how basic I am.
Yeah, and the title doesn't make any sense.
No,
There's
it is only one book. It's Book of Blood.
I thought it was Books of Blood. I think it's Books of Blood. Books of Blood. Yeah.
Okay, but it's based off of Clive Barker's Book of Blood.
Yeah, I don't get it. There's only one book in the movie. It tells 3 stories, but there's only one book. So I have to be honest with you. I thought this movie was nonsensical. I did not like it very much. I thought it was dumb.
Okay, but listen to this. If you saw Antebellum, which was the first movie we did for October, and then saw Bly Manor, this was better.
Is Antebellum bad too?
Antebellum's awful.
Really?
It's really bad. And Bly Manor suffers because Hill House was so good, and this was such a letdown that it makes you not like Bly Manor. So I think if somebody who never saw Hill House like you saw Bly Manor first and then watched Hill House, you would probably like Bly Manor a lot. But because I was expecting another Hill House or like something similar to the way that show made me feel, you know, and then saw Bly Manor, which is really more of a mystery than it is horror. It softened Bly Manor for me. Like it just didn't have the impact. And but I will say this, it's better than most Turn of the Screw adaptations that we've seen. So, but this was better because what I like about this movie. So real quick, I'm looking up the actress because I love her so much. Britt Robertson, who was in Girl Boss.
Yeah, I loved her. I think she was the bright point of the movie. But otherwise, you had this weird George Lucas lookalike that was like, killing people. And he and his wife's creepy.
Oh, he does look like George Lucas.
Dude, he looks a lot like George Lucas. I remember when I watched the trailer thinking that. And as I'm watching this, I'm like, dude, the guy who wrote Star Wars is a murderer. This guy's nuts.
It does jump around quite a bit. Like, I don't understand. The only thing I could think of is that the old couple became corrupted because they were in that little town. Right?
Maybe.
That's the only thing I could think is that. So basically the premise is this. We meet Britt Robertson's character who plays Jenna in the movie. She has these extreme like sensitivity issues, right? So she hears things like her parents are chewing and she just wants to like kill them for their chewing noises, right?
Yeah.
Which I can sympathize with that. So I just want to
Sure. No, that's a legit condition, like really bad sensory issues. Like
sensory, that's the word I was looking for.
I have some friends who have a daughter who's got really bad sensory issues to where when she goes outside, they have to put headphones on her because she just freaks out. Otherwise, like it's a thing for sure.
So we start to sympathize with this person, right? And she hears her mother saying, "Hey, she's not getting better, so we're going to put her back in this rehabilitation thing. We're going to put her back in this home, right? To help her get better." She says, "F that," and she runs in the middle of the night. She steals a bunch of money from her parents, runs in the middle of the night on a bus.
Who are quite rich.
Oh yeah, very rich. And she runs away and gets freaked out on the bus because she's hearing all these noises, and she stops midway from her destination and ends up at this house, right? And this house seems wonderful. It's like a bed and breakfast. She rents a room. She meets a boy there. Everything, like there's still some things that are weird, like bugs coming out of the wall and things like that. But you think it's a pretty nice house. Like this is a nice, normal couple. Not really.
Yeah, but it takes a while. At least in my mind, it took a while for you to realize that. And they did a decent job of that because they do set up a pretty good job of like, okay, this girl might be a little crazy. Because when she's in the bus, she looks up at the air conditioning vent and she sees someone looking at her through it. There's no one there, that's in her head. And then later on, she sees the cockroach come out of the wall and you're like, oh, what's going on here? Is the book of blood in this house? Like, that's what I was thinking. And then you go downstairs and you see a cockroach come out of the floor and everyone else sees it and they comment on it. So you're like, oh, so maybe there's just cockroaches in the house and she didn't see something. And then she has this crazy nightmare. At least that's what I thought, is that it was a nightmare because they've set up. So this was something they did really well. They set up making you think that she is kind of crazy. And so when she has this nightmare where her boy, the male friend comes in and they basically with I think they're dragging a dead body, which is his. Like the couple comes in and they drug her and they drag a dead body across the floor and hide it in the ceiling or in the floor or something. Like I'm thinking that's a dream because then all of a sudden she wakes up in her bed and everything's okay. So I thought that she just had a nightmare,
and
or
I
that
think
she saw it
thinks
all.
It's a dream too. I think she thinks it's a dream.
Yes, well. She does. And so and then you come to find out, nope, that was real. These people came in, they drugged her, they brought in a dead body, hid it in the floor. Like, so that was pretty good. That was pretty good misdirection. And it was a creepy idea. I just struggled with, it was called the Book of Blood. And like, it wasn't until the very end that you understood what the Book of Blood was. And I just kind of thought it was a bit of a letdown.
I like that because the whole time I'm like, where's this Book of Blood? Like, I don't get it. And then so basically it's telling three stories that verge at the end, right? So you have the story of Jenna and her sensory issues and things like that. Then you have the story of the mobster, right? Who finds out about the Book of Blood from some guy that he owes him money, kills him, and goes after the Book of Blood. And then you have the story of the priest guy. I don't know what you would call him, and the lady that doesn't believe him, right? And they end up falling in love and all that stuff. We don't realize that all these things. The con artist, right? But he's not really. I don't know. He was a con artist, and then he
But 100% a con artist. She turned it around on him.
I guess, yeah. I guess because he was using the dead to con this woman.
He made it all up.
Right, but he pissed off the dead.
Yes.
Because he was conning this woman into thinking that he could speak with the dead.
Yeah.
But that was never really happening.
Yeah,
but
and then
eventually
used him to write all their stories.
Yeah,
which was creepy.
He does have that connection with the dead.
Eventually,
because of her. Eventually, yeah. So yes, it was a con until it wasn't.
Yeah. Yes, the con was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Like, but I was like, oh, maybe that's the Book of Blood. This is a collection of short stories, right? That's what I started thinking when it got into the con artist and the professor. I'm thinking, oh, they're just telling a bunch of short stories. That's cool. That's like, it gives me a little dose. Well, then, so what am I trying to say here? So the professor finds out that he's conning her. That he never really, he doesn't speak to the dead people. He doesn't have any interaction with her son, and he's fooling around. Like, they get together eventually. He's fooling around on her with other girls and stuff like that. And he admits to her when he's drunk, this is all a con, right? Well, then she's like, F you. I know that my son's here, blah, blah, blah. And she runs up to her son's room, and it turns out that she has the connection to the dead somehow. And she devises this whole plan to get that guy back for conning her, and locks him in a room. And the dead attack him, and they scrawl all these words, etch it into his skin all over his whole body.
That was freaky.
That was awesome. I loved it.
His freaking eyelashes being ripped out, and like,
oh, dude. Well, it was even like writing on his like eyeballs and stuff. So he is quite literally the Book of Blood, right?
Yeah.
Then you have the mobster. So basically this happens, and this whole town where this happens, this guy gets all these words scrawled over him, because the Book of Blood is basically the dead's stories. So they etch their stories on his skin, on his body, which I would only assume that it's on every square inch of his body, internally and externally. I would assume, judging by how they wrote on his eyeballs and stuff like that. So probably etching on his heart, and so this guy is quite literally dead at this point.
Yeah.
But so then we go to the mobster, right? So that seems like it's story 2, right? So we have Jenna and her sensory issues and the creepy people in the house and the cockroaches as story 1. Then we have the guy, the Book of Blood, Simon is his name. That's story 2. Then we have the mobster who is on a quest to get the Book of Blood with his buddy, and they enter the town where these people live. And everything's dead. Like, there's spirits roaming the streets and everything like that. And I was like, oh, this is cool. This is like post-apocalyptic. Like, we're getting into new territory. That's when I started to realize, oh, these stories are all gonna mix, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all intervened in some way.
Yeah. So it's weird because at the beginning of the movie, when you're following Jenna, you're kind of already at the end of the Assassin's storyline, or close to the end of the Assassin's storyline.
Right.
And by then, it's also been years since that British guy became the Book of Blood. So, but it is interesting that they all kind of converge, and you start to realize at the end. And I didn't mind that, but at the same time, it was just odd because you spent most of the movie with Jenna's character, and then all of a sudden it switches to the other characters, which I didn't mind that. I liked the our author or the scientist, whatever, and Simon, I think his name was. I liked their story, so it was cool. But then you got into the assassin, and I'm like, wait a minute, the pacing of this is just so weird. Like I just found the pacing to be really off.
Well, but that's my one issue with the story, is it tells you 3 different stories that all converge, but none of them really feel like they end. Right?
I mean, I felt like they all ended. I mean, especially for the assassin, he died. I mean,
yeah. But it like the ending seemed really quick.
Yes,
right?
It did.
So like his ending, he goes there and he tries to get the Book of Blood, and he realizes he can't take the Book of Blood. They sick the rats on him, and he stabs himself in the stomach, right? Because he's trying to stab these rats, and he stabs himself all over.
That was weird. That must have been in his head.
Yeah, it was. It was. All of it was in his head. But he stabs these rats because they're all over their body and his body, and turns out the rats were never there, and he dies, right? So his story, honestly, his story didn't even feel like it was necessary.
It didn't feel necessary. And it was weird because he stabs himself, and then he walks all the way across town with like 7 stab wounds, a couple like near his heart, just to then get hit in the head by the old couple.
Yeah.
I just was like, he would have bled out well before then. Like
what I think his whole purpose to the story was just to make it to where it shows you that this area is demonic, right? That it can make people do anything, even the toughest guys.
Yeah, without him, you wouldn't have like understood the Book of Blood stuff as much.
Yeah.
So in that regard, I guess it was kind of necessary, because I didn't realize when Simon was getting written all over that he was becoming the Book of Blood. Like I was just like, oh wow, that's creepy. And then they tell you that later. So like he had a purpose, but it just felt like a strange way to organize a story. It wasn't your typical 3-act story as much, because you had like a part of an act of one story here, and then the whole first act of the movie was done before you even started act 1 of Simon and the scientist story. Yeah. And you got through almost their entire story, and then you get into the 3rd act, and now you've got 2nd act of this story and the 3rd act of this story, and it's just weird the way it was structured. I didn't like the structure, but at the same time it was unique, and I did enjoy that. Like it wasn't bad. Like all right, I'm going to say something now that it's been a few weeks. I felt really bad when Sam and I were reviewing Akira because I didn't get to finish the movie. And I was telling myself at the time it was because I was too busy. Reality is, I didn't like it. I just didn't. And I thought I might have, but as I watched this movie today that I didn't particularly like, but I watched the entire thing pretty much in one sitting, it made me realize, yeah, there's a reason I couldn't sit through Akira, and I watched it in like 12 viewings. And I did finally finish it, and it's okay, but I didn't like it overall. That's why I couldn't freaking watch it, is because I didn't like it. But this movie, I did at least sit down and watch. And I had some enjoyment of it, but it wasn't
perfect. Great. And I think with horror movies is honestly like the Haunting of Hill House is one of the most perfect horror films. Like it's a television show, but you know what I mean? It's one of the most perfect horror things that I've seen.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about it
in a long time. Like it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
But that is like a rare gem where you're gonna get like this perfect horror movie, right? There not a whole lot of them that exist.
Sure.
With Book of Blood is
good ones out there.
Yes, there are. And
I wanted to preface that because I didn't like this movie that much. And I've said on this show multiple times that I'm not a big horror fan, but I did love Dr. Sleep. I loved it. Chapter 1.
I don't really count Dr. Sleep as a horror movie. I count it.
It
has horror element. The Shining. Max, I can't even look at you anymore.
Mike is very mad at me. I'm sorry,
Mike. Mike wanted to come on that episode to talk Akira with you guys, and he got held up with something else. But
that would have been awesome that you come on.
Yeah,
would have been a better conversation because I didn't even freaking finish the movie. I felt bad.
I feel like The Shining is scarier than Dr. Sleep, but Dr. Sleep I feel like is fantastic. Like that's
The Shining. The Shining is another movie I was going to bring up. That's another good horror movie. And
Yeah.
I haven't seen The Ring since theaters, but I think that's a testament because it freaked me the hell out. And I haven't wanted to watch it
The
since.
Ring?
Well, I was a teenager, so maybe I was like
Yeah, if you watch it now, you're gonna. It's The Ring isn't that good, dude. Like, it was
Really?
a cool idea.
It scared the crap out of me when I saw it as a kid.
It was a cool idea, but it's full of plot holes. The girl is super creepy, but that's kind of what those, like, it's The Grudge, right? The Grudge doesn't scare me at all until that little Asian kid peeks his head out from the attic ceiling, and I get chills every time I see that. And all it is a little Asian kid in white makeup. That's all it is. But it scared the crap out of me when I was younger. But the movie's horrible, right? So that's what these horror movies do, is they're kind of dumb, but they have a really good character that'll creep you out, right?
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger, Jason, Child's Play with Chucky. They have a really good character that creep you out.
Mike Myers for Halloween, which I think is the most uninteresting character ever.
Yeah,
I do not understand.
The Halloween movies are pretty good. A couple of them.
I've only seen the first one and the latest one, and they're okay.
Yeah. So, but you take those characters out and you just look at the story without this dynamic character, and the movies aren't that good, right?
Yeah, that's true. They're usually a silly concept.
Yeah. So with which was the one we were just talking about, the Grudge and The Ring, their characters were kind of cool, right? So it made the movies somewhat enjoyable, but the story of them is not very good. It's just the way it is. But that's what you get with horror movies. But you have certain ones that come in. The Shining, Doctor Sleep, which I feel like Doctor Sleep is more of a thriller than it is horror, where Shining is more horror. In the Haunted,
and I guess that's fair.
Yeah, the Haunted Hill House is just great storytelling.
Okay, because the other horror movie I was going to bring up was Silence of the Lambs, but I don't know that really is a horror so much as it's a suspense as well. But that's a great movie. That's a good one to watch around the Halloween time.
Yeah, dang it, I'm out of my.
Yeah, I was unprepared this podcast, and I only brought a 12-ounce can of soda. I need water, dude. I'm thirsty.
How many times have I told you need to invest in a mini fridge? Just a small one.
I have a mini fridge. It's just not in here.
Yeah, you need to get like a little 12 by 12 mini fridge for $30 or $40 from Walmart, and just stick it right there on your desk and just fill it with drinks.
I'm good. I don't want a mini fridge in here. My office is too small. I don't want anything else in
small
here.
One, like this big. They make them where you can fit like 6 cans in it.
It just doesn't make sense for me. I've got the kitchen like 12 steps away, and I don't have 5 kids like you. I don't have as many kids as you. Like, I get you. Like, you're in your office, you're working. It's loud out there. Plus, your wife watches like 4 kids during the day. You don't want to have to go out there to get water. I get it. For me, I don't care. My wife's upstairs. It's not loud. The whole downstairs is basically mine all day.
My thing is, my hat's like lopsided. It's driving me nuts. My thing is, I have the mini fridge because when I'm in a meeting, like a really extensive meeting, and I run all my PowerPoints and stuff for our meetings. Like, that's one of my roles is I'm the facilitator. I can't go very far. So me walking 6 feet to my mini fridge right here is almost too much, right? Because I got to get back. So that's why I have the mini fridge. But I got to tell you, dude, in moments like this where I know that there's a 24-pack of water in there, and I can literally like continue doing the podcast and just get up and go get my drink, it's fantastic.
That's fair. It would be nice, but like where I'm at, I'd have to like walk around my desk. That's the only.
I'm telling you, dude. I think I might just buy you one anyways and make you love it.
You know what? Christmas is coming up. If you find a good deal Black Friday, I would absolutely use it.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna get you one, and then when you turn out that you love it, I'm gonna see, I told you so.
I'm not saying I wouldn't love it. I just don't want to spend the money on it. That's all.
$30, $40. My fridge is
I gotta save all the money to buy my $700 graphics card.
$700. Just go get a Xbox, bro.
Quantum Kyle, the link worked great.
Oh, did you check it out?
Yeah. It's not. I don't think it's official. All right. Did Tyler reply? Tyler hasn't replied yet, man. I told him he was fired from the podcast. He hasn't even replied. What the heck?
What?
I was joking. He put a text out in our group chat saying, "I'm sorry I didn't watch the movie this week. I was so tired," which I don't think it was his week to be on anyway.
Yeah, he's supposed to be on next week. Make sure he knows that because we have plans. I need all 4 of us.
I replied with a Donald Trump thing from back before he was president. With a, "You're fired."
Oh no! We're triggering people now.
Just from saying a name, that's if you get triggered from a name, that's bad. I don't care what
we just lost half our audience
for me talking about
because we invoked
someone who was a celebrity before being president. Oh my goodness. Anyway, with that said, Couch Crunchers will not endorse a candidate, but we will say if you're in the United States of America, get out there and vote. It's important.
Get out and vote. If you're looking for endorsements, just check out the Absolute Geek podcast.
There you go. Absolute Geek. You know, I think
they're endorsing Kyle Stinson for president.
He's a write-in candidate. If you hate all the candidates, I can't blame you for that. Write-in Kyle, man.
Kyle Stinson for president.
Get someone who cares about drinking games while podcasting. That is an issue worth caring about.
So his tagline is incidentally MAGA as well, but it's Make America Geek Again.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so he can just rip off Donald Trump's campaign. Can you just throw his name over the thing, use the MAGA stuff. So
can you imagine wearing a hat that said MAGA and people are getting all mad at you because people do, like, it's a very sensitive thing. I get it, but you're like, no, it's Make America Geek Again. Why are you getting so mad at me? Stop getting triggered.
So Matt, the Absolute Geek, I think their color scheme is like kind of a purple, right? They use purple for a lot of stuff. So they should come out with a purple dad hat that says Make America Geek Again, and I would buy that in a heartbeat. Like embroidered, like real cheap, like truck. I
would buy that. I would buy that. Yeah, I'd wear it on the podcast. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So basically, the issue I had with Book of Blood, let's get back to our topic. Books of Blood, whatever the hell, dude. It's based off a thing called Book of Blood. It's called Books of Blood. There was another movie called Books of Blood. I don't know, dude. Whatever. But it's 3 stories, and each 3 of these stories were pretty good for the most part. They weren't great, but they were cool. They were entertaining enough to make me forget about the last 2 properties that we watched that were awful. And so at the end, right, so we find out how all these stories converge. This is where my issue is. Jenna, who's played by the lovely Britt Robertson of Girl Boss, which they should bring back for season 2, which won't happen. But
that would be awesome. I loved that show. It was so fun.
She decides. So basically, this old couple is stealing these people that come to their bed and breakfast, sewing their eye, like taking out their eyeballs, sewing their eyes shut, sewing their ears shut and their mouth shut, right? And they're connecting IVs to them and putting them in the floorboards and the walls and everything of this old house, right? Everywhere.
Yes, sir.
And they almost get Jenna, but Jenna's like has a freak out. Like she's able to get the sedatives to wear off, runs away, and almost dies because they push a car over the cliff with her in it. Didn't know she was in it, and gets back to her rich parents. Right, is sitting there, and all of a sudden we learn why she's so messed up.
Yeah, she's freaking off.
Yeah, she convinced her boyfriend to kill himself, to jump off a building and kill himself. And that was the most cringe-worthy portion of this movie, right? And then from that point, you're like, F this girl, right?
Yeah, kind of.
So far, you're liking her. You're like, oh, she's the victim in all this, right? Which I think was brilliant on the director's or the writer's part, is make you sympathize for this girl and then have her do something that is absolutely unforgivable. And then all of a sudden, you're like,
but she already did it the whole time you thought she was a victim.
Yes, I'm torn, right? I hate this girl, but you've made me love her already. But now she did something awful. We find out she did something awful. So now you're torn, right? This is the part I hate. Okay, you're wanting her to be punished because of what she did, right? Which you kind of think she's already being punished. No, what she does is she gets back on the bus, goes back to the old people, and willingly gives herself up to have her eyeballs taken out, her eyes sewn shut, her ears sewn shut, her mouth sewn shut, and put in the floorboards of the room that she was staying in.
I think her mouth was still intact because she like ends with a smile on her face.
But I think it's sewn.
Maybe you're
right.
No,
they remove her tongue. They talk about removing the tongues.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So they remove
She
the
just
toxic
willingly
cancer.
submits to this and gets buried alive, essentially.
Yeah, and I get why that's the case, is that she has these issues with the sensory issues with the hearing. They seal up her ears, so now she doesn't have to see or hear anymore, see anymore. The sensory issues are gone. She can just lay in here. She has an IV hooked up to her, and she's just going to live forever as part of this house, right, until she dies.
Oh, she had an IV hooked up to her?
Yeah, all of them did. That's how they were. That's how they were able to stay alive. They all live in this house with IVs hooked up to them. So, yeah, you see her when she's sitting in the box and she kind of smirks. She has an IV bag sitting right next to her.
I didn't notice the IV bag. I didn't know any of them had IV bags.
So, yeah,
I watched it this morning. I did not realize that.
Because the old couple is not, they're not trying to kill people. They're trying to bring happiness and harmony to these people and make it to where they can all be one big happy family, right? Is their deluded way of thinking.
But the freaking assassin, they literally chopped him into pieces.
Because he wasn't one of their guests.
Yeah.
He showed up. They had to make a split second. So
were they eating him or something? Because like they had his like body all severed up and like it was just that was creepy.
I don't know what that was about. I don't know. I think I have no idea. I knew she was like sort of
Quantum Kyle
right?
is in the chat right now, and technically this movie is too mature for how old he even is. I'm so guilty talking about that.
He's 7. I think he's 17, isn't he? No. He's younger than that.
He's 15.
So they killed the assassin guy, assuming that's the guy that was in the shed. I didn't make that connection until just now. But he wasn't one of the guests, right? He stumbled upon them doing this awful thing of burying this guy in the backyard, floorboards and everything. And they knocked him over the head with a shovel. They also killed the guy that came by looking for Jenna, and he was the owner of the vehicle they pushed over the cliff. They killed him and pushed him over the cliff with Jenna inside the car, right?
Yeah.
So they don't take
I don't know if
care.
you caught this. That was the dad of the guy she convinced to kill himself.
Yeah, and he was trying to get answers of why his son killed himself. So they don't take this consideration with the people that are not guests of their bed and breakfast, right? That just show up unannounced, in wrong times and stuff like that. So they just kill them. But the ones that they get a relationship with, like Jenna and the boy that she was interested, I forget his name right now.
Yeah, me too.
And they have a daughter and all their kids that are in this house. They tell that story as well. Those are the ones they preserve and they keep with them forever, alive, living in the house. It's just really demented, right? But you start to think that they live in this town, Ravenclaw or whatever it's called, where the Book of Blood was created from Sam's body, and the whole town goes apeshit, right? And you think that because this happened where they live, that's why they're kind of demented, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you're thinking is that they're demented because of what Sam did with the dead people scrawling all their stories all over his entire body. It kind of blows out this whole town and just creates this kind of like Fortnite bubble of just evilness, right? So, which I've gotten really acquainted with Fortnite right now. William and Lex are absolutely obsessed with it. That is the dumbest game.
Dude, I haven't even played it.
Okay,
I can't bring myself to try it. It looks terrible. I'm not interested.
It's my son's 6th birthday today, right? We bought him like a Fortnite Nerf gun. We got him a bunch of stuff. But one of the things he wanted was Battle Pass for this season because they're like Marvel characters, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to go buy him Battle Pass. So he tells me, Dad, if you buy me Battle Pass, I get to play as Iron Man, as Thor, and all this stuff. No. You buy Battle Pass for $9, okay? And then there's levels that you also have to purchase in addition to the Battle Pass to get these other characters. So all he can be, I spent $9 for him to play as Thor. That's it. Yeah. And that's it. He can't play Iron Man. He can't play his Wolverine. It's another. It is so ridiculously expensive that I had half the mind at that moment to just delete it from my Xbox and call it a day because that was ridiculous. Like $9.
There's a reason Epic has so much money, dude. Epic is huge. The developer, they are so big. They were originally the people that developed the idea for Gears of War and did the first 3 games and Judgment, I believe. And then it's just such a 180. They went from Gears of War, this gritty thing where you've got guys with chainsaws chainsawing aliens, well, not aliens, but like monsters in half with blood and guts flopping all over the screen and F-bombs and like the most mature game to freaking Fortnite.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, I don't think they expected Fortnite to be this big. From what I understand, it was meant to kind of be like this side project. And then it turned into a phenomenon and created essentially a new genre. Now, there were other games. I think PUBG came out before Fortnite. But Fortnite's the biggest now for the Battle Royale genre, and it is a phenomenon. And you know what? I guess I just don't get in on the big like hit things because I never got into Minecraft, never got into freaking Fortnite. Thor's only worth $9 if it's Chris Hemsworth.
It wasn't even Chris Hemsworth. It was better than the Avengers game, but no, I wouldn't even say that. It wasn't better than the Avengers game because Thor is the only character that looks cool.
I love Thor in the Avengers game.
Yeah. So it wasn't even better than the Avengers game. But dude, like there's different. It costs so much. So I said, okay, how much is it if I just want to buy the battle pass and all the levels? It's like $60. And it's only good. The battle pass is only good till like the 31st, and then there's a whole nother battle pass.
Now you can earn that stuff, right? You can earn that stuff in game.
I have no idea.
You can, but it's a lot of work to earn it.
My 6 and 7 year olds are not good enough to earn it.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. But yeah, they play as Thor now. That's cool.
Well, they wanted to play as Iron Man. That was the only one they wanted. Well, now they get Thor, which isn't as cool as Iron Man.
Yeah.
Which my son for the first like 3 years of his life, he thought his name was Lexi Iron Man. You know that.
That's right.
Remember? Yeah. So Iron Man is his favorite, but it's a ripoff. And so when the whole Apple thing happened, where Epic's like, screw Apple and Google, if people want to buy stuff, they can do it directly through our app. We're not going to be paying Apple and Google anymore to use their payment services. And I was like, good for you. I was like, good for you, Epic. Like, screw Apple and Google, the money hungry. No, after I saw how much that crap costs, I said, F you, Epic. It is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah. I can see both sides of it, but
I went down a rabbit hole, dude. I used the bubble analogy from Fortnite and went down a rabbit hole because I was pissed, dude.
I get it.
I felt like I threw away $9. Okay, back to it. So the town is in this bubble, Fortnite bubble, where all this evil stuff happens. It's
called an Apex Legends bubble. There's less negative feelings.
Well, I don't have any. I don't even know. All I know about Apex Legends is there's a bunch of Funko Pops of it that I don't know who they are.
Apex is the only like battle royale that I like.
Which bums me out. I forgot to tell you before you went to Disney World to look for Funko Pops for me.
Oh.
Because they have park exclusives that I don't have. And I forgot to tell you.
Well, I would have. I spent $140 getting my brother a lightsaber.
Oh, he got one?
Yeah, he wanted another one.
Isn't the fun part like building it?
Not at all.
No, it's just But you built that, right? Like you put isn't it like an assembly line where you build your own lightsaber?
My headphones came off. I didn't hear you.
Isn't it an assembly line where you build your own lightsaber?
You can, yeah. But I didn't want to do that.
Oh, you just bought Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
Yeah. I don't really want to build my own. I'm not that interested in that.
Oh, I thought that was the whole thing, is that you have all the little parts and you build your own hilt and stuff like that.
That's one way to do it. But for me, I'm just like, you know what? I like the movies, and now I can freaking be Kylo Ren and go.
So is Kylo Ren your favorite character?
No, but I love his lightsaber. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
No, my favorite character is the Emperor, but they don't even carry his lightsaber.
I want Mace Windu's lightsaber.
So I have two favorite characters now. The Emperor is my favorite, but it's super duper duper close to this character Thrawn.
Oh yeah, which I'm hearing
Thrawn.
They're making a show or something with Thrawn.
Or are they? He was in Rebels.
Yeah, they're
awesome.
Yeah, they're doing something with Thrawn. I read it the other day, but you know me, if it's Star Wars, it goes in one ear and out the other. I'll go see the movies, but I don't read anything about it. And I'm super excited for Mandalorian to come out because that show is phenomenal. Let's just hope Jon Favreau does not have the curse of 2 like he always has.
Okay, I did a quick Google. We got this covered as the one who's saying it, so I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, we're redacting that right now.
Yeah, well, I see a valid news source. I'll believe it. Anyway, should we give a rating to this movie?
Yeah. Do you feel like you said it? I know I've talked a lot more, but I'm kind of the horror guy when it comes to our group of 4 here. Do you have anything else that you want to say about it?
No.
Well, I'll let you go first since I'm usually the one that goes last anyways. I want to hear what your rating is and why you gave it that rating.
As we talked, I was considering changing my rating that I had originally given it as I was showering today and thinking about it. It's actually funny.
Out in the shower.
Hey, I'm working in the shower. I landed on 2.5, which to me means it was wasn't terrible, but it wasn't really good. It was just,
But you don't feel like you wasted your time?
No, I don't feel like I wasted my time, but I'm not going to watch it again. I have no interest in watching it again. And if a sequel comes out, the only reason I'd watch it is if we were reviewing it on this show. I'm not interested in seeing a sequel. It's just, I didn't dislike it, but it was there.
So I think I'm going to give it a 3, which is pretty close to your rating anyways.
Yeah.
It's not the best horror movie I've ever seen. It's not the worst I've ever seen. It was definitely better than the last 2 things I've seen. Bly Manor pissed me off so bad, dude. It was just not good. But and Antebellum was complete letdown. But it wasn't bad. I mean, I kind of know when it comes to, I call them cheesy horror movies. Like this is one of those cheesy horror movies that it's more about how much blood and how many disturbing scenes can we put in this rather than creating like a really good story. I mean, the story wasn't bad. It was just what I would have liked to see is rather than it go part 1, Jenna, part 2, Sam and the professor, part 3, mobster, and then converge. I would have liked to see all those sprinkled out throughout, right? So it's just jumping a lot. I would have how Crash or any of those other movies that have these big ensemble casts do it, right? Where they're showing different timelines and things like that. Okay. Or show, Sam brings this up a lot. I forget what he references all the time, but maybe show Britt Britt Robertson, Jenna, what happens in a day's time, to Sam what happens in this amount of time, and the assassin what happens in this amount of time, and make it all like 1917 does that, right? Is it 1917?
No, 1917 does everything in one shot.
Oh, Dunkirk is the one I meant.
Oh,
it's showing like all these different people at different lengths of time, and it all meeting in the middle. Like that would have been cool too, I think, to see that, or at least they kind of did that, but they didn't say they were doing that, right? Like each of them have different timelines and stuff, but
yeah, because like when you're getting to the end of the movie, you're seeing the assassin storyline that is coming to an end near the beginning of when Jenna's storyline begins. So they kind of did that. They had some interesting concepts. I just
it was more about shock and stuff like that.
There was some cool shock. There was some cool things in it. I enjoyed watching it. It's October. I'm willing to watch a crappy horror film in October.
Well, my friend, you will not be watching a crappy horror movie for next week. Well,
I know. I'm really hoping I can change my mind on the movie we're watching next week.
So, 2 of my favorite actors ever. Well, my favorite actor ever is Simon Pegg. You know that. So
Simon Pegg, aka Max Peterson. Yes.
So he's Shaun of the Dead, as you know.
Yeah.
But Tyler Labine, who's from Reaper, and he's Dale. I forget which one he is in Tucker and Dale, but he's in the other movie. Then we're comparing these 2 horror comedies against each other. Very unique voices each of these movies have. They're I think they're heavily comparable to each other as far as the style of movie. I think they have some witty humor and stuff like that, and they flip everything on its nose. Because when Shaun of the Dead came out, it was this rom-zom-com, they call it. So it was a romantic zombie comedy, right? So, and it was unique when it came out. That had never been done. Since then, we've gotten Warm Bodies and Zombieland and all these other things. But Shaun of the Dead was unique. Tucker and Dale takes it, what if these racial prejudices, right? Like, basically, there's a group of college kids that see two dirty rednecks in the woods and just assume that they're serial killers. But the rednecks are just the nicest guys in the world. So it's really funny. Like it kind of flips an old idea on its head, right? Like The Hills Have Eyes or something like that. It takes that idea and flips it. So they're both very unique. I'm really excited to compare those. That's what we do next week. Now it is going to be released on Halloween. We will not be recording it on Halloween. We're recording it sometime next week. It'll be pre-recorded, so the news won't be as up to date. We might not even get into the news. Yeah. So check out the Facebook and Instagram for those kind of things. But next week, and we got some special surprises in store, considering that all four of us show up for the show. But let's talk about some things that happened in the cinema news, TV news, video game news. Anything happen from the news perspective, Max, that you want to talk about? Because I had some things typed up and now my keyboard is not working.
Dude, I don't know why you and I are both going through the exact same thing. I really don't understand it.
I tell you what, dude, I bought a Bluetooth keyboard and I'm seriously regretting it.
Yeah. Where is it? Dang it. I posted something. Oh, never mind. It's not really news. I was just going to mention something funny that happened this week, which is Microsoft sent out freaking refrigerators that look like the Xbox Series X to a couple of you. Yeah, I posted it on our Facebook and Twitter earlier today. There's this Microsoft made an Xbox Series X that is a fridge. And there's a YouTuber that made a video about it because they sent it to her. And then Snoop Dogg got one as well. And it's freaking awesome. I
would love that, dude. That would be so cool in my little man cave here to have an Xbox that.
Oh, this is a full size one. But you know what? If they make mini fridges, that would be sick.
Yeah, I would totally put that in here.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I don't have any news off the top of my head. I've been out, as you know, so I really haven't been paying much attention to the news. Is there anything you wanted to talk about from this week?
Well, there is a rumor from comicbookmovie.com. I'm not sure who first reported on it, but I am seeing the headline here that MGM has talked to both Apple and Netflix about releasing James Bond's new movie, No Time to Die, on their streaming networks.
That would be wonderful. I just want that movie.
Would it? I love going to see James Bond in the theater.
So do I, but they're freaking delaying it till next year. 2020. I need a good movie to watch, man.
Yeah, I don't know. There's Netflix and Apple have been coming out with some good stuff. Oh, for instance, the new Bill Murray thing dropped on Apple TV today, which I'm planning on watching that. I forget what it's a new. I don't know if it's a TV show or a movie, but it's Bill Murray and the girl that was in Office and Parks and Rec. What's her name? And I Love You, Man. What's her name?
Oh, Rashida or something like that.
Yeah, Rashida Wallace or
Johnson,
Jones?
maybe.
I can't remember her name.
Rashida Jones. Yep.
I like her a lot. I just can't remember it. Rashida Jones. So it's her and Bill Murray, and I'm not sure if it's a TV show or a movie, but I did see the trailer for it, and it looks absolutely hysterical. And you know, Bill Murray is a national treasure, so I will watch. On the Rocks is what it's called. It's directed by Sofia Coppola. So
I hadn't heard about this.
The other one that I've been watching, Max, and there's a lot of subtitles in it. There is some English, but it's Tehran. So it's about this Middle Eastern espionage stuff. So that's on Apple TV.
Okay.
I was going to tell you about that one. I was going to talk about that one earlier, and I forgot to. The other thing I'm seeing is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings has officially wrapped filming.
Oh, cool.
So
awesome.
That happened.
Is China is Disney going to thank War Torn China stuff again in that one, or?
I don't know. Hey, so I saw Mulan. I
Yeah.
didn't tell you this. So I watched Mulan. I didn't half mind it. I thought I was going to hate it, and I think because my expectations were so low, I actually kind of liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. I think it was okay.
I thought they really screwed the pooch by not having any of the songs in there, because we finished the movie and then immediately went to YouTube and watched the soundtrack of all the songs.
Yeah, I did something similar actually. So I was talking to my wife about this earlier this week, and she and I have come up with a Disney remake formula that's better. And I think that Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin hit that formula the best so far. And essentially what it is you got to keep the music. You do. And you got to keep the characters that are so beloved. And then you got to add a little bit of new to it. Now, I hated Jafar in Aladdin. He sucked. They needed to cast a different actor, in my opinion, for that role. But otherwise, I really liked Aladdin. I thought it was a lot of fun. And they added some new stuff, and it was good. Beauty and the Beast, same thing. I think it was really well cast. And they had the same music, and they added some new stuff, and I think that was really good. Now, I'm sure people will disagree with me on that because they're like, they're just remaking the same thing, and they're trying to get more money out of us. I'm like, I don't care.
See, I don't think Aladdin, they really remade the same thing. It was a new property.
They did some new things, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I liked that. But then you have The Lion King that was literally a copy and paste, but they had, it was Beyonce, right? But they had Beyonce sing over Childish Gambino to where you couldn't even hear him.
Dude, you're getting into dangerous waters. You're bringing up Lion King again. You know I go on a freaking tirade.
You don't need to go on a tirade. I'm telling you that they screwed the pooch. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you know what? My blood starts getting boiling.
Yeah, it boils. It boils. Yeah, it boils. And I don't want to get you on a tirade because I got to pee pretty bad.
I wasn't a huge fan of Beauty and the Beast because I didn't think the music was mixed very well. And I don't think Emma Watson has that strong of a voice.
She doesn't, but I think she was a great Belle otherwise.
But I will say my favorite. So Aladdin was very good. I liked Aladdin, and a lot of things surprised me in Aladdin. Things that I thought I was going to hate that I actually liked, like Will Smith, for instance. But my favorite.
I missed Iago though.
Yeah, my favorite live screen adaptation of the Disney classics has to be Pete's Dragon. Pete's Dragon was phenomenal, and it's completely different. It has it's nothing like the cartoon. Even the story is different. It's set in modern times. Like, they don't have the music and stuff. Pete's Dragon is fantastic. So if you haven't seen Pete's Dragon, I highly recommend it because I loved every second of it. And it's Robert Redford, who's a fantastic actor, and Bryce Dallas Howard, I think, is in it as well.
Oh, really? Nice. I didn't know that.
But Pete's Dragon's phenomenal, and I love the original Pete's Dragon, but this was completely different, and I still loved it. So, but I haven't even watched Lady of the Tramp. Have you?
No, I haven't. I heard it was okay, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. So, Mike, you know, dude, anytime Lion King gets brought up, I start going on a tirade, dude. Like,
dude, okay, sorry, he's bringing up Jungle Book. Jungle Book was really good.
Yeah, Jungle Book was good. I forgot about that one.
It had some amazing sound mixing and the action and the casting, and it was so good. I didn't see it until the day I watched Mulan. I hadn't seen it yet, and then we stayed late at my mother-in-law. She's like, "You got to see the Jungle Book," so she put it on right after, and it was real good.
Yeah.
And the funny part about it is that we watched Mulan the entire time, and my mother-in-law has a surround sound that isn't actually half bad, and she didn't realize it wasn't turned on, and then she's like, "Oh, I didn't turn it on." So we turned it on for Jungle Book, and it was pretty legit, actually, with her surround sound. I was surprised.
I'm trying to think. Jungle Book was great, and that's Jon Favreau for you. But apparently they're making a sequel to it, and anytime Jon Favreau gets involved in a sequel, I get really worried.
Well, we'll see.
I don't know if it's just me.
It's coming out this week.
Oh, I hope it's good, dude. I really hope it's good. But Christopher Robin was really good. But that's not really an adaptation.
That felt kind of like just a new Winnie the Pooh
story.
I liked that one a lot. I loved that one. I still need to get my wife to watch it. She didn't want to see it because she thought it looked sad, but it wasn't. It was just like sad in the sense that like he didn't know who Winnie the Pooh was, or
it hits you in the feels.
But then it changes. It's a happy ending.
Yeah,
but it's got sad parts because he's like trying to basically ignore his childhood, and that's the whole big message behind it. Is that It's okay to be an adult and pull from your childhood. It's okay to still enjoy some childish things. Hence why we 30-somethings are doing a podcast. It's okay.
So there's the Cruella that's coming out that I'm kind of excited about with Emma Stone, but that's not really an adaptation, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is, but it's a new story.
It's Maleficent in the 101 Dalmatians world.
Yeah, but Emma Stone is much more likable than Angelina Jolie. Let's just put it straight, right?
Yeah.
But the biggest one, dude, that I'm excited about, Hercules.
Who's cast in that? Do we know yet?
Oh, it's not. It's just upcoming. So it says screenwriters David Callum, producers Anthony and Joe Russo.
Nice.
But I don't see any sort of cast.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I like
Hercules is so good. And on Disney Plus, because of the COVID thing, they've had the single family sing-alongs. And they had that. So I watched those with Taylor, my 2-year-old, and the Hercules song comes on. And it's my favorite part of that whole sing-along, dude, because I love it's that Herc's a hero.
Go the distance, right?
No, Hero to Zero.
Oh,
that's in the first one, I think. But they do the Hero to Zero in the second one. And that song is one of the best Disney songs ever made. But
I didn't even know Hercules had a sequel.
A sequel? No, the Family Sing-Along is a sequel. They have 1 and 2. So on Disney Plus, they have Family Sing-Along 1, Family Sing-Along 2.
Oh, so it's just different songs from the movies.
Yeah, it's
okay.
It's
I thought you were saying there was a Hercules 2. I'm like,
no, there is a Hercules 2, and there's a Hercules animated series too. So it's Family Sing-Along 2. Yeah, Zero to Hero is on Family Sing-Along 2, and the actress that sings, I don't know who she is.
Oh wow, yeah, I did not know this was a thing.
But she does so good. And Going the Distance, is that the one that Meg sings? No, that's the one that Hercules sings. What does she sing? The song where she's confessing her love to him.
I can't say I'm in love, I think.
Yeah, that is one of the best songs ever written.
I love that song. I actually did that song for a talent show when I was in high school. We had
that's in like a girl.
No, that was the point. That was the point. We had a girl that was singing the song, and then me and 2 other buddies dressed up as the 3 fates or whatever. And so we cross-dressed in the robes and just like pretended to be the fates or whatever. It was fun. It was a really, we almost won for it too.
The Hercules is just one of the best. And then I showed my 2-year-old Tarzan recently, and she loves that movie.
Dude, I had that movie memorized as a kid. I watched it so much.
Oh man,
I knew every single word. It drove my parents nuts, I'm sure.
So when those movies came out, Hercules, Tarzan, like that little pocket of Disney movies, like Lilo and Stitch, I think was around the same time. Those were considered to be like flops for Disney animated standards, right? It was a dark time for Disney animation, right? They weren't coming out with huge hits, not like the 101 Dalmatians and the Toy Stories that they're coming out with now, right? It was right after the Little Mermaids and stuff that Hercules were coming out. I want to say it was like early 2000s, late 90s was around that time that came out, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Hercules was in the 90s, I'm pretty sure.
97 Hercules came out. Yeah. So these weren't hits for them. Now they are so beloved that those are some of my favorite anime movies.
Tarzan was 99.
Yeah.
I freaking loved Tarzan.
Yeah.
So good.
So it was like after Lion King, after Little Mermaid, and before I want to say like after Aladdin. I'm trying to think of the stuff that when they finally came back to form. Like Lilo and Stitch was like on the bear. That was 2002. Lilo and Stitch was like one of the last ones to come out that were kind of flops. But now they're beloved, right? In hindsight,
yeah,
they're beloved. So, but I think that does it for news. I can't think of anything else. And you told me about 15 minutes ago that you have to urinate. So, well, Crunchers, thank you for tuning in and listening to us during our what do you want to say? Second to last Halloween special Halloween episode where we're
Yes,
talking
sir.
about Book of Blood.
Good to be back.
You know what's funny is it said Books of Blood, and I changed it before coming because I thought I was wrong, and it turns out I was right, and now I'm wrong. So we got to fix that.
How the turntable.
I know, dude. You didn't say anything about my name.
I saw it. I didn't get it.
Do you know who Caillou is?
I looked it up as we were doing the show. I don't know who that is.
But do you get it now? Once you saw a picture
when I saw the picture, I do get it. Yeah, it's funny.
So the guy looks like Caillou with a bunch of scars written all over him.
Caillou.
Swinging by his butt cheeks. Yeah.
I should have actually known this one. This was on PBS. I actually had access to this.
Well, it was.
I didn't have cable. It was after our time.
It's right. More recent. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's more like Kaylin's.
97.
Oh, 97. Oh.
Yeah, but I was not really a kid anymore.
So, go check us out on Facebook. Go check us out on Twitter, Instagram, couchcrunchers.com, where this episode will be posted on Monday with the correct title of the movie. And come tune in next week, 7 o'clock, on a pre-recorded episode with myself, Max, Sam, and Tyler. We'll be talking about Shaun of the Dead versus Tucker and Dale versus Evil. There's a lot of verses in that
yes,
name.
Sir.
Should be Shaun versus the Dead versus Tucker Dale versus Evil. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and until next time, on Geekin'. And apparently, Google Tarzan swinging by his butt cheeks.
Yes, I'm looking for it.
Keep on geeking.